welcome everybody to the Entrepreneurial CPA Show. Special COVID-19 editions, coronavirus. Come at you with an analogy you need to break free of the box and punch above your weight and learn how to embrace remote work. Because it's not just a trend that's here today, it's a trend that's here to stay. And I'm Garrett Wagner, and I'm back with, if you've been watching our prior two episodes, you know who I'm talking about, Jeff Phillips, Accountify Going Concern, the man, the legend. Jeff, you ready to talk more remote work today?
Garrett, I'm remotely working. I'm ready to talk about remote work. Let's fire it up.
All right. So first question, completely off topic from today's conversation. There's a big debate going on the internet. Are you someone that works from home with pants or without pants?
I'll have to tell you,
you don't need to stand up either.
I'm a shorts guy, but I am wearing pants right now, only by a stroke of dumb luck. But I like to have shorts. Now, Garrett,
yeah,
I dress in a fleece, and I don't have the three-piece suits and look like suave like you. So really, I got to turn the question on you.
The top up looks professional. That's the way to go. That's the beauty of working remotely. You know, I got pants on, but the pants do not match the jacket.
Okay. So, I'm not going to ask for proof.
Right? We're not doing proof today. That's for a later episode. So, Jeff, the first two episodes we talked about, remote work is the new normal and why firms need to embrace it. If they want to have any kind of success going forward, they want to attract knowledge workers, they want to be relevant. Episode 2, we talked about how firms can better manage their remote team, managing by objectives and having some flexibility and trust. Let's flip the script over and talk about the remote work side from myself or whoever it is watching that's working from their house, their apartment, wherever it is. How do those people better prioritize their schedule and manage this new remote work world, which is drastically different than their old world, which was I get up, I commute to the office, I sit at my desk, I commute home, and that's that. You've been doing this for a while. We're pulling on your tremendous knowledge. How do you do it? What have you learned over these years to prioritize and manage your schedule?
It's a great question. And, I want to start with the notion that the best thing you can do to be effective is you got to take good care of yourself. And that starts with thinking about what you're paying attention to in the news. Have you ever got sucked into, refreshing CNN.com right now to wait for more bad news, and it's not very productive, and we got to take better care of ourselves. But you have to tell I've got 3 kids at home right now. And it's possible kids could be a part of our working lives at home for months, and longer. So there's a couple just basic things that I got to do to take care of myself that I want everyone to make sure they do. Is one is build a routine every single day. I was when this thing started, I printed out a checklist of things I needed to accomplish every day, and I became obsessed with just crossing them off the list. And I'm not talking about high-minded, accomplishments. I was thinking about get dressed, go for a run and exercise, make sure my wife exercises today, make a daily to-do list for work, brush your teeth and shave, dress up. I found that if I could control my daily activities,
dress up from the top up at least, right?
Yeah. Dress up, parentheses, top up only, bottom is not as important.
Well, Jeff, with that, I've I work from home, and if I'm not going to be having any webinars or conference calls, I dress completely casual. But yeah, I keep, a shirt on a hanger right next to the desk that if something pops up, just throw that bad boy on and I'm good to go. I'm not going to wear it all the time, but I want to kind of, part of that prioritizing the schedule and being remote is still look professional when I'm on camera. I know there's been some pushback. Some courts around the country have gone virtual. They're using Zoom now. And some lawyers have started getting in trouble with the judges because they're showing up for court hearings and virtual meetings, in their bathing suits, at the pool, outside. And the judges are throwing the hammer down of this is not acceptable to represent your client in a 2-piece bikini. So go inside, at least put a top on, and then let's continue.
Well, that sounds totally wild, but I mean, I think for like just feeling good about yourself and getting out I almost said getting out the door, but just getting to work is just preparing and having that pre-work routine so that you can begin to focus on work. Just take care of yourself. I mean, we have a checklist that we have to follow so that our family operates, so that I operate. This is a tough time. Who knows how long it's going to last, but the better I adhere to my routines, and my good work habits, my good life habits, the better I feel, the more productive I am, the better I feel at the end of the workday. So just take care of yourself. Don't neglect your own health.
And we've been talking about that a lot, of kind of like, hey, just like in the airplane, you put your mask on first,
Yeah.
and then put it on for somebody else. If you can't get your mask on first, you're going to be just crazy, crazy. So Jeff, if that's kind of like step one, self-care, develop a routine, be structured in what you do, bring some consistency to the chaos. How do you suggest people deal with just the complete flexibility of working remotely? So they have a strict 8 to 5 schedule, or how do you kind of deal with that? When do you work between when you wake up and when you go to bed?
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking of things in terms of where we're at right now and being forced to work from home, but then also thinking about how to do work from home when it's not so required and stringent. But a couple of thoughts. Absolutely have a routine. Have a set hours that you work, and a set hours where you can manage your life. It work gets done when we can focus on one thing at a time and accomplish that, break, focus on the next thing and break, and that routine. And if you can build that routine over an 8 or 9 hour period, great. That's how I would highly recommend doing it. I think multitasking and trying to spin 15 different plates, you will not be a productive remote employee, and you will not feel very good about your results. It's going to take breaking up your work into chunks. There's a wonderful blogger that I read named Cal Newport, and he has a blog. I think it's calnewport.com, and he writes about it's Study Hacks. Study Hacks is the name of his blog, and it's written for students. But what it teaches us is about how to organize your day to do focused work and dealing with distractions. So set a clear schedule. And I think another piece is we all have smartphones. We all have now access to Zoom, and so we're always accessible. But there's a big difference between being always accessible and always available. So part of being disciplined with remote work is having that schedule. But the other discipline is committing to not being available when it's your off hours. You ought to have clear on hours, and you ought to have very clear off hours. Because I know you're taking care of kids, or you're taking care of parents, or you're taking care of other responsibilities when you're off. And so it's really about giving 100% attention to whatever you're doing for the right amount of time every single day.
And I see that. I practice that a lot, of like, okay, I'm working and I'm available and accessible, or I'm not working with my daughter and neither apply. So my schedule kind of shifts up and down throughout the day with some peaks and valleys.
Right.
A lot of times I jokingly say, usually by 9 o'clock, my daughter's asleep. Like 9 o'clock, it's time for second shift. Like she's asleep, I'm available again. And depending on what's going on, I might do some work then, but that's my jokingly second shift, because I'm accessible and available at that time. But I don't want to be accessible and available when I'm having family time.
Nor should you. Your mental health is going to deteriorate if you're straddling the personal and your work like that. You can give as best you can for yourself. Give as much attention to one and then another. So I know for me, so I'm married. We have 3 kids. My wife owns a business. I'm running a business, and we have a 4-year-old, a 9-year-old, 11-year-old at the house. So what we and so many people, if you don't have kids at home, chances are someone on your team does. And so you're going to have to give grace to each other right now. And as we all work with remote work and develop, go through this learning curve. But what we do is we alternate days. So there are days of the week where I am 100% focused on running the homeschool and e-learning, taking care of everything in our house, freeing my spouse to go and be 100% focused at her job. And then we switch. And the way and so I lose some time on the days I'm not working. And what I'm doing right now currently is I'll wake up at 4:30 or 4:45 and handle all my correspondence, my administrative tasks, and any client related stuff I need to get
All right.
out the door that morning.
I think I did I hear that wrong? Did you say you wake up at 4:30 in the morning? Like AM?
I want to be done with my work stuff so that when I'm with my family running school, being the principal of the Phillips Learning Academy that was just dropped on us 2 months ago, that I can give it 100% of my attention. I need the work off my plate. And trust me, I don't want to wake up early any more than anybody else does, but I feel a lot better when my to-do list is clear and then I can give attention to my kids. My kids are up at 5:30 or 6 anyway.
Okay.
So how are you handling all of this? Everybody's different, but how are you handling kind of the straddle between professional life and having a daughter?
Yeah, I mean, I try and do mine more late at night than early
Yeah,
in the morning, but I think that's where it's important to circle back to everyone's unique and find that routine no matter what it is. Like for me, I'd rather work till 11 at night versus wake up at 4:30 in the morning. You're probably the opposite. You probably don't want to
yeah.
be working till 11 at night. You're happy to wake up. So find what fits in your routine and your flexibility. So Jeff, final question for you as we wrap up here. And one of the questions I get all the time about remote workers prioritizing their schedule, this flexibility, this trust. Let's say, for me, and part of my routine, I'm working from home now, 40 hours a week. It's all I do. And yeah, really, part of that, I want to go to the grocery store every Thursday at 11 o'clock and shop for my groceries because it's quiet. How should firms deal with that? Is that something that should be part of this new normal and part of this accessibility and availability? Or is that just bad practice? Keep your butt in your seat 8 to 5.
No, they should let them do it. Period. Look, there's going to be a balance right now and going forward in meeting your team's professional objectives and your personal objectives. We have to trust the teams to get the work done. Management by objectives. We talked about that earlier. And for all you out there who aren't a manager and you're executing the work, you have great responsibility. You've got to meet the repairman. You've got to take your sick kid to the doctor. You've got to buy the groceries. And so work has to be more fluid, and we have to be okay with the fluidity of work. That might be the only time they can get groceries, and you shouldn't care. The work must be done. Garrett, you just said you do your wrap up at 11 o'clock at night. I said I do my wrap up, my finishing tasks daily at 5 o'clock in the morning. So if we care about taking care of our teams, communicating trust, having solid routines, then we can also care about giving our teams the objectives, who owns what, when's it due, when's it completed, and stop caring so much about if they're accessible and always working and FaceTime and all that. You got to throw it out the window.
Yeah, I know for us inside our organizations, we just kind of say, like, if you go to the grocery store at 11 on a Thursday, just put it on your calendar. So we know, well, I'm not even going to bother calling Jeff at 11 on Thursday because he's grocery shopping. And I'm okay with that. I'm fully aware of what you're doing. You're getting your objectives done. Grocery shop away.
Garen, where that starts is with the leader of the firm, of the team. If the leader's modeling that behavior of trust and transparency, everyone's gonna get behind. If it's do as I say, not as I do, nothing's gonna change. So how are you communicating trust to your team today? Right? Ask that question. And that's the best place to start.
Well, Jeff, before we wrap up this special 3-part series, and I appreciate you stopping by and your time on remote work and how to manage it, let's just touch base real quickly on the little logo on your shirt there, accounting fly. Because we talked about a going concern in a prior episode. we didn't dive too much into accounting flies. Why don't you give everybody a little kind of high level what accounting fly is and how that relates directly to this topic of remote work we just dove into?
Thanks, Garrett. Accounting Fly is a staffing platform for CPA firms and accounting teams, where we find the best talent available for any open position. 95% of the time, it's remote talent. And I mean US based, work from home CPAs, enrolled agents, and bookkeepers available part-time, full-time, W-2, 1099. So we've got 55,000 accountants of all stripes who have self-identified as they will accept a remote opportunity. And so our firms are hiring those. We have traditional firms, we have virtual firms. We've placed CPAs at well-known internet startups in Silicon Valley, and so we are a staffing platform built for the new way of hiring in the accounting profession.
Love it. I love what you guys are doing over there. Thank you for stopping by, sharing your content. If you got questions on remote work, any part of this, reach out to Jeff. He's always happy to connect with you.
Yeah.
Myself included. And as always, you know the drill. Click to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Stay up to date. And we challenge you today. Take action to change this world. Maybe embrace remote work a little bit more and invest in yourself every day.